sticking to commitments, India's climate change goals. Ahead of the 27th Conference of the Parties of the UNFCCC COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, in November, the Union Cabinet has approved India's Nationally Determined Contributions (NDC), a formal statement detailing its action plan to address climate Jalvayu change. The 2015 Paris Agreement requires countries to spell out Batana, a pathway to ensure the globe does not heat beyond 2 degrees Celsius, and endeavor prayas to keep it below 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2100. The subsequent Baad Ka COPs are a quibbling arena, Vakrokti Ka Akhada, where countries coax, samaksh kajol, meethi baaton se mila lena, and make compromises, samjhauta, on the cuts they can undertake over multi-decadal, bahudashakiya timelines with the least impact, prabhav, on their developmental priorities, vikas sambandhi prathamiktaएं. While the end product of the COP is a joint agreement, samjhauta, signed by all member countries, the real business begins after, where countries must submit NDCs every 5 years, mapping what will be done post-2020 to stem fossil fuel Jivashma Indhan emissions Utsarjan. India's first NDC, in 2015, specified Nirdisht 8 targets, the most salient mukhya of them being reducing the emissions intensity Tivrata of GDP by 33%-35% of 2005 levels by 2030, having 40% of its installed electricity capacity sourced from renewable Akshay energy, and creating an additional carbon sink of 2.5-3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent barabar through forest and tree cover by 2030. Being a large, populous country, Abadi wala desh, India has high net emissions but low per capita prati vyakti emissions. It has also, by participating in COPs for decades, made the case that the existing climate crisis, Sankat, is largely due to industrialization Audyogikaran by the US and developed European countries since 1850. However, years of negotiations, Varta, international pressure and clearer evidence Praman of the multidimensional Bahuayami impact from climate change have seen India agree to move away from fossil fuels over time. At COP26 in Glasgow in 2021, Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid out 5 commitments, or Panchamrit as the government references it, which included India increasing its non-fossil energy capacity to 500 gigawatts by 2030 and achieving net zero by 2070, or no net carbon dioxide emitted from energy sources. However, the press statement on the cabinet decision was silent on whether India would cut emissions by 1 billion tons and on creating carbon sinks. While India is within its right to specify its emissions pathway, it should not, at any forum, promise more than what it can deliver, as this undermines, najarandaz, the moral authority, naitik adhikar that India brings to future negotiations. India has expressed its intent, via several legislations, to use energy efficiently Kushalta, and many of its biggest corporations have committed Pratibadha to shifting away from polluting energy sources. Going ahead, these should be grounds for India, at its pace, to be an exemplar namuna for balancing energy use, development and meeting climate goals.